this week's episode of The Effects Loop. I'm your host, Jay Byrne. This week we got a little bit different of an episode. It's kind of more of a channel update episode on what I'm going to be doing with the channel moving forward. I'll try to explain this a little bit. When you start doing a YouTube channel, you pick a subject. And I mean, I love guitars and guitar related stuff, and that's what I wanted to do because I can talk about it, you know? But I also love movies. I'm a big horror film fan, cult movies, all kinds of movies really, but my main focus is like really horror and cult films. If you can tell by looking at the room around you, it's kind of obvious. But I used to do with the Roadkill Entertainment channel, which is connected to this one if any of you have checked that out. I had a podcast with a friend of mine, a guy named Mike Welch, and we talked about all different stuff about movies. We did quite a few episodes of the podcast. All those episodes are up on the Roadkill Entertainment channel. You can listen to them if you like. Plus I did some media reviews, Blu-ray, 4K type stuff on that channel as well. And I miss it. I miss doing that. I've also gotten a few requests from a couple of my subscribers. Hey, maybe you should talk about some of those movies you got in the background. So I think moving forth, I came up with this idea. I'm like, how can this work with the Effects Loop? Because the Effects Loop is a guitar theme channel. But moving forward, we are going to have the Effects Loop, which is the guitar stuff. We're also going to have the SFX, like special effects loop, which is going to be movie-related stuff, which is going to be horror film, cult film, movie histories, you know, stories I have about movies, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna give that a try. I'm not sure what the schedule on that's gonna be yet. Next week's video will still be another guitar video, the Effects Loop, and then I think the following week I may premiere the first SFX Loop video, which will be movie related, and I have some ideas. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. However, so that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Hopefully we'll see if that works. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot and see if it works. I mean, that's all I can really say. But yes, my child is in the background, actually. You may also notice that there's been a few less videos this summer, and that's because I have a child constantly in the background. And while she can be a part of some of the stuff, some stuff it doesn't make any sense. However, yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward as far as the channel is concerned. You're still going to be getting your guitar-related content, plenty of it. I've got plenty of ideas, and I've got some stuff I want to make videos about. But I'm going to split the content up a little bit, and I'm going to do some movie-related stuff as well, because it's kind of a big part of my life, and it's a big part of my interests. And we'll see how that works out. If it doesn't, hey, I'll be right back to straight up guitar content. But we'll see. I'd appreciate it if my regular viewers would at least attempt to check out some of these movie related videos and see if it's something that you're interested in, because, you know, I don't know. I have a lot to say. Obviously I can talk. But movies are a big deal, and I know a lot about movies as well. So I made a couple of movies myself. I made 2 independent horror films. Well, 3, technically. So, yeah. Well, let's get off that subject. But I always like to make these videos about something. Like, whenever I do a channel update video, I don't want to do just a channel update. I want to turn it into an actual video. So, I came up with a subject matter for today. This is kind of a basic one, but we're going to go through these kind of quickly. I've got 5 here. 5 Blu-rays. 5 concert Blu-rays. Like, rock, metal, stuff like that. 5 concert-related Blu-rays. And I'm just going to tell you about each one. And these are 5 that I rewatch a lot. These are my own personal, you could say favorites, I guess. 5 of my own personal favorite concert-related Blu-rays and DVDs. Kind of a weird way to bridge the gap between Effects Loop, SFX Loop. We're going to talk about some media here. So there's no particular order to these. The first one, which I've been watching quite a bit lately, is called Where the Light Is, John Mayer Live in Los Angeles. I just recently kind of got into John Mayer, and this is an awesome concert. I mean, aside from the fact that John Mayer is an amazing guitar player, if you're into guitars and guitar players, I mean, this thing is great. It's really cool the way this is set up, because it's when he was doing his tour, he was doing 3 sets. He would do an acoustic set, he'd do a set as the John Mayer Trio, which was kind of like his blues-inspired, blues rocky kind of set, and then he would do a regular full band set. And I mean, I think this is made around the time of his Continuum album, because it seems to be the content that's focused on the most, which is actually one of his best albums. So that makes this really cool. There's some interview footage with him talking on here as well, kind of cut into the show. But this is really cool. It's 2.5 hours, but it's a great show. Plenty of guitar in this if you're into guitar, so something worth checking out. This one right here, Iron Maiden Flight 666. This is awesome. I mean, I'm a big Maiden fan. I've seen them live, and this is a great documentary, I guess you could call it. There's a documentary version on this disc. You can watch just the concert footage, because this covers an entire tour. Basically what they did is they took the Maiden jet, I guess this was one of the first times they used the Iron Maiden jet, and they packed all their gear into it and they booked a tour. And they were flying their own gear from place to place, and it's kind of the story of that with tons of live footage. Like full songs. I mean, this isn't this is like a full concert. This is a full concert. It includes all the full performances on here. You can watch it as a concert, or you can watch it as, and it's like their entire tour. It goes from place to place, country to country. So this is really cool, and it's a really good set. They play all the classic stuff. Honestly, the set on this, which is really cool, was basically them revisiting the set from their Live After Death album. So it's that set with a few other tracks added in, but it's the Live After Death set. It's really cool. This is definitely worth it if you're into Iron Maiden. There's a lot on here. Definitely worth watching. Plenty of guitar-related stuff on that as well. I'm a huge Slash fan. This one right here, Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, live at the Roxy in California. This disc is really cool. This was before Guns N' Roses reunited, so they actually do perform a handful of Guns N' Roses songs, like it was like Paradise City, Rocket Queen, You Could Be Mine. There's a few on here, and they're really good performances. One might say the performances with this band kind of sound better than the performances with Guns N' Roses themselves. Because, I mean, Miles Kennedy has a really cool voice, and he's a really good singer. But this is such an awesome show. If you're into Slash and you like watching Slash play, this is freaking great. And it's a really good Blu-ray too, so yeah, worth checking out. Alright, this is one right here, Stone Temple Pilots. This is Alive in the Windy City. This was Stone Temple Pilots live in Chicago. Interestingly enough, when I lived in Chicago, this is filmed at the Riviera Theater in Chicago in March 2010. I wasn't living in Chicago in 2010. However, I lived right down the street from the Riviera Theater. I walked by there a million times. I think I even saw a show there once. I can't remember exactly who it was that I saw there, because my wife would win tickets to things and we'd go see random artists that we didn't even really know too much about at the time. We did see Placebo in Chicago, and I think it was at the Riviera? I don't know if it was the Riviera or the Metro. But they're close to each other. At least I think they are, yeah. They're not that far off from each other. But anyway, yeah, I lived close to this theater and I went by it a million times. And this is a great show. This is Scott Weiland, Stone Temple Pilots. This is Stone Temple Pilots putting on a killer show. So this is definitely worth it if you're into Stone Temple Pilots. So there's that. And here's my last one, the fifth one, which I've watched a million times. This is called The Police Certifiable. This is really cool. This is live in Buenos Aires. This is when the Police did their reunion tour. And I mean, they did it awesome. And this is a really good set. I mean, they play everything you could possibly want to hear the Police play. And it's a great show. And they're in like top form. Yeah, and sound quality and image quality is great on all of these, actually. This particular disc, I got a little story behind this with the Police, is also when I lived in Chicago. The Police played Wrigley Field in Chicago while I was living there, and we lived down the street from Wrigley Field. Basically not too far, walking distance, probably like a 10-minute walk. And we were just coming home, you know, you'd take the train, come home at night. We were coming home and we were unaware of the fact that the Police were actually playing Wrigley Field. We kind of just kind of forgot about it. It didn't, yeah, it's like, oh, that's going on over there. I think we had gone by, was it that? No, it was, we had been in the area where we knew something was going on, but we weren't sure what it was. But anyway, we were walking home, and we're hearing this music in the air, and we're like, what is this music, man? This is like really loud. You could literally, we were like a mile away, and you could hear the music kind of filtering out in the air. And we're just walking, and we're like, holy crap, that's the police. And all we could hear was, Roxanne. Like, we actually heard Roxanne being played live, and you could hear it. You don't have to. And we're like, well, that's so cool. The police are literally playing down the street at Wrigley Field, and we can hear it kind of in the air. And we're just walking home, just kind of grooving out to the music. It was just one of those moments where you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, I mean, you can't get into the stadium, but I mean, if you were outside that stadium, you would be able to hear the show, like, perfectly. And funny thing is if you lived in the houses next door, the houses that are right next to the stadium, the rooftops, people put chairs on the rooftops and sit on the rooftops, and if there's a concert going on, they can actually see the concert. Some people charge admission and stuff for people to come sit on their roofs, and yeah, it's kind of cool. Those apartment buildings probably charge very high rent for that reason, but it's got a cool little story. So that's it. That was 5 Blu-ray concert movies that I watch over and over again, that I've watched a million times, and I really enjoy them. So yeah, like I said before, next week will be another guitar video, and then we'll be getting into the SFX loop, which will be an interesting little experiment. We'll see if people gravitate towards that, if that actually works or not. But if you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, leave me comments below. Let me know what some of your favorite concert movies are to watch, actually. Maybe some stuff that I haven't seen. And yes, and what do you want? Yes.
Come back the next time for I'll prove you wrong.
Prove me wrong? How? You're gonna prove me wrong? How?
Prove you wrong. Come back next time.
Who's gonna prove you wrong?
Me.
What are you gonna prove me wrong about?
Proving you wrong.
You're gonna prove me wrong about what?
Which means next time, if I prove you wrong.
What are you gonna prove me wrong about?
Just prove you wrong about something. But then, if that happens, I will be the startup of next show.
Sure. I don't know what she's talking about. I have no idea what she's talking about. But okay.
Oh, also leave a comment below saying Alice can outright Daddy.
Okay, Alice can outright Daddy.
In the comment section.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. I have no idea what she's talking about. But there you go. So yeah, thanks. I'm Jay Byrne. This has been the Effects Loop. Stay tuned. More videos to come. So see you next time.